channel. You know what time it is, No Press Fam. Welcome all to another episode of The Beatdown, the segment where we take multitudes of characters from across many universes and have them battle it out. I am your gracious host, Class. And if you enjoy our content, share, like, subscribe, and become a No Press fan member. We put out new episodes every week. Also, if you want to learn about origins or abilities, check out our playlist titled Brief Origins or BAF. With introduction said, let's get down to the beating. In this corner representing DC Comics, Teen Titans' own Nightwing and Starfire. Alright, now let's talk about the endgame. Nightwing is more experienced fighter compared to Gambit. Nothing against the boy, given he actually had to earn the respect of assassins by beating their best, so no question his skills is impressive. But Nightwing has been toughed by some top tier level fighters in the DC universe who ever walked the earth. And that even includes Batman, and that was his first trainer. Having that on your resume places fighter level on a top level, and Gambit isn't always showing his hand-to-hand combat in every one of his adventures compared to Nightwing. Sure, you can argue Nightwing using his gadgets is something he uses often, but again, throughout comics, he has gotten to shine frequently of his hand-to-hand skills, way more than Gambit, who uses his powers with the cards and staff more than often in the battle. Also, we got a reference to gadgets comes in handy to help better his chances against two mutants. Nightwing could be the perfect misdirection, keeping Rogue's attention on him just long enough for Starfire to lay one fiery blast at Gambit to take him out of the game permanently, leaving Rogue in a 2-on-1 situation. While some might think Rogue would probably take Nightwing out after that ordeal, unlikely given the dramatic impact of Gambit's loss. And if you think she could easily just take the two because Nightwing is human, I would throw in a wild card. What if Nightwing, with the new of Gambit's and Rogue's powers, you don't think he would have been prepared for those two? He would likely have cuffs capable of absorbing Gambit's powers and without his hands unable to use his staff. Know Rogue's full potential and understand avoiding her touching you physically is the main goal, so that he still have his skills to keep you in the fight. Likely cover his body with a certain latex of some kind where it doesn't allow skin contact. Surprise her with a sort of expanding gum that covers her face and makes it difficult to remove for a certain amount of time. This gives Nightwing and Starfire a chance to team up, defeat Gambit, and then focus their attention on Rogue after. Nightwing would most likely keep his sights on Gambit and try to take him out before he aids Starfire. Now, some might think there's no way of that happening, as Gambit's kinetic energy can make anything explode, and he is also an excellent fighter, demonstrating against characters like Moonlight and Deadpool, but he's never faced a human like Dick Grayson. He's cunning and knows how to set a trap or bait someone into a trap. Sure, Gambit is fast as well, but strategy usually doesn't play on his background frequently. Or Nightwing could discuss a strategy from their playbook where they get Gambit out in the open, exposed long enough for Starfire to surprise him with one of her starboats, as he keeps occupied with Nightwing, who keeps his back turning away. Let's not forget, Starfire is also a skilled warrior. Rogue is impressive, but fighting someone with technique along with powers will prove to be difficult. I reference her throwing it down with the Amazonians, as they are considered some of the most skillful warriors in DC Comics. Having that on your resume comes into play, as she may have techniques that can probably avoid being touched by Rogue's hands, or may have a way to snap those hands, leaving Rogue with the rest of her body to defend herself. Starfire keeps Rogue at a distance, and she may have a chance taking her out slowly with her starbolts. gathering more solar energy and becoming a supernova quickly and take Rogue out before Rogue can do the same. Blast away Gambit with a good might, and Rogue might lose focus from her loss long enough for Nightwing and Starfire to gang up on her. Combo and gadgets and starbolts should make enough overwhelming for Rogue at some point. Even if she goes the other way and becomes on full rage mode, this again gives the duo a chance to work with a clear head around her anger tactics. Something rage blinds us from being able to focus on our target. This rule can also be applied to Rogue. If Nightwing keeps Gambit on the sidelines somehow with the gadget to keep him locked away or locked up or occupied, which Nightwing would have, Starfire and he can work on Rogue first. She's a tough cookie, but it take her out first and Gambit doesn't stand a chance solo. Having Starfire provide the distraction by taking on Rogue for a time without Nightwing is a good old-fashioned fistfight. Nightwing would be able to read on Rogue's powers and how she can harness the others. For example, once she removes the gloves, Nightwing could tell Starfire about it, allowing her to avoid any sort of physical contact. He can use something to keep her hands untouchable, like a sort of foam that hardens around the hands at some point, or a material like gum that continues to expand that when you struggle. Either one keeps the hands busy, and Starfire can use her as a punching bag. Even if Nightwing was knocked out for a time, Starfire can keep herself going against two plenty of time if Nightwing needs a moment to recover, and then surprise Gambit and Rogue with a few ninja tricks he picked up from Batman himself. Wildcard Nightwing on his own, he could find a way to get Rogue to accidentally hit Gambit while using himself as a sort of red cloak to lure the Raging Bull, which is the case in which will happen to be Rogue. Last minute move himself out of the way while timing Gambit coming from behind just right to have her unable to miss a tackle on Gambit from Rogue. Bottom line, Starfire provides the firepower in match along with extra muscle to go with it. And Nightwing provides the gadget and skills to help keep their opponents from getting the job done. With his experience working with the Bat, he can make observations maybe not many can make, using certain exploitations against Rogue and Gambit, allowing Starfire to deliver tremendous blows at them using Nightwing's strategy. These two work beautifully together given their relationship, and with both side by side, there isn't anything they can't accomplish as the Teen Titans. Alright, and in this corner representing Marvel Comics, the X-Men's team own Gambit and Rogue. Alright, let's talk about the endgame. Rogue can absorb Nightwing's skills and then absorb some of Starfire's powers for good measure, and then that would be the end of it. She would even absorb Starfire's skills in the process, so whatever tricks they might try, she would know how to overcounter them no matter what, because she already pretty much read their mind. Her having their powers plus Gambit's skills and gifts would give the other two very little to work with. Rogue is probably the strongest amongst them all. Sure, Starfire could give her a run for her money, but her muscles has shown no limits, it appears at times, and the roster she has faced backs up that statement. Gambit has a fight in this as well, as his kinetic energy blasts help him create weapons to explode out of nothing. His deck of cards alone could probably blow away all of Nightwing's weapons, and if he touches Nightwing's utility belt or his equipment, he could definitely cause a sudden burst of explosions touching the materials. Not to mention, he's no slouch when it comes to fighting. He has proven in his skills and could very well hold himself against someone like Nightwing. Apology guys, my cat is having the zoomies right now, and that happens to be the logo on the bottom of the screen right there. He's having his zooming moments. Bear with me, folks. Rogues has been able to go supernova and has Starfire. So has Starfire, but I referenced this to illustrate a point that both stand on the same power level almost, which should give some indication that Rogue could probably wield Starfire's powers. Having that power evens Gambit and Rogue's chances even greater, as that probably the only odds Starfire and Nightwing have at winning this. If she decides not to absorb her power, she could just simply knock Starfire pretty far away off her feet. Her punches can do serious damage, and Starfire may have fought Wonder Woman at a time in comics, but Rogue's galleries of heavy hitters is way more impressive when you consider Captain Marvel and Thor as just small examples, and those are big examples. Just so we're not kidding ourselves. Gambit is somewhat of a marksman himself, and with the deck of cards as a weapon, his energy can channel through them as ammunition. It wouldn't take him long to place Nightwing under some rubble or injure the man during combat. Rogue can also just drop something big enough to squish Nightwing like a bug, or if she tags him with a punch, he's got no chance of getting back up, especially with a heavy hitter one. Gambit offers his powers to Rogue, and now they can double team with fire shots at range against Starfire and Nightwing. Might not eliminate them, but definitely create an obstacle. Bottom line, Rogue is the muscle to the team. Gambit has the ammunition necessary to keep them on their toes. Skin contact with any of them and Rogue will overtake them from there, and his touch can cause things to burst, which makes Nightwing and Starfire a dangerous territory given their training from Xavier's School of the Gifted. Allows them to handle any scenario as a team, as the X-Men. Alright guys, well that's going to do it for us. So if you liked either one of my arguments, it's not always up to me, it's up to you guys. So if you like them, you can hashtag Rogue and Gambit, or you can hashtag Nightwing and Starfire. And as always, No Press Fan, we really appreciate you guys keeping it 1,000 subs. Peace! Shout out to all my content supporters. Not working together, but we like to give credit where credit is due. Ivan the Unstoppable for all the knowledge of comic feats, Watch Mojo for origins and for all the background videos, Comic Historian, Comics Explained, and key issues. Go ahead and check them out and tap into the world of comics by supporting other creators. Link to channels will be in the description below.